Hello, my name is Trydar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build an Atlas-class submarine in Minecraft. Let's get started. So the first thing we will do is take a little tour around the exterior of the submarine. As you can see, it is quite large. We have a large bridge space here at the front with several large glass windows. We also have the side details here with many portholes on the several decks that you can see on the inside there. And as you can also see, there is a fully complete interior to the submarine. And below here we have two mobile vehicle bays and some of the thrusters and propulsion assemblies at the back here, along with the propeller and the rudders. As you can also tell, the build is made primarily of cyan terracotta, white concrete, and yellow concrete, with just a little bit of blue stained glass and a bit of obsidian here and there. And up here, of course, we have the main conning tower with our periscope and bow planes here to control our depth, as well as the ballast tanks and everything. And there are several ways to enter the sub. I think that we will actually do that on this model over here, because I prepared some slices to show you the submarine at various depths in the water. As you can see at this level, the submarine has surfaced, and the vast majority of the submarine being below the water here. Let's take a look at this one. There is another model behind this one over here as well, which shows the submarine fully immersed in the water. And the height for these is set at about 63 blocks, or 62, which is the Minecraft default sea level. So I think that if you do want to build your submarine completely below the water, you may have to hollow out some of the seafloor beneath it. It's going to be quite a tight fit. However, this one right here may give you the best of both worlds. If you want to have a partially surface submarine, I believe that you would be able to do this in a normal Minecraft world without too much terrain generation. Now, there are several ways to get into your submarine. So you can see we have the bridge below here. We have two entryways here as well. We have one up here at the conning tower. And I believe we also have one more back here at the stern in the engineering compartments. And there are also three ways to get into the submarine from below as well. So I wanted to give you a lot of access ports so you can fly and land on it with your elytra and get into your submarine in this way. So as we board the submarine, this is the first deck up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a tour of the submarine, then we're going to take a look at the materials list, and then we will start with the tutorial itself. So up here we have sort of an observation deck that is above the main bridge down here, which we can get to if we want to go down a little farther here. And if we come forward, we can go here to our main controls of our submarine, represented by the redstone components here. Of course, these controls do nothing, but they look pretty, so we had to have something around here. And there's not too much to look at in the reference model here, but if you built this, say, in a warm ocean biome or something, you could have an entire coral reef out there to look at, but that is going to depend on you wherever you decide to build your submarine. Of course, we have a bit of daylight coming in from the window up there as well. And of course, the sea level is just at this level here. So we also have some controls back here for various bridge stations. And back here, we have a sort of a holographic matrix to display sort of maps and various 3D objects here. I imagine that this submarine would have this. This is sort of a built-in version of the Subnautica, what is it? That module that has all the maps in it with the the drones and everything. I can't remember the name of it. But we have some various structural supports around here. And I think, let's go down a little bit farther. There is a one deck down here to explore more. We can take a look at the observation level down here on the lowest level of the submarine. You can see our other reference model out through the window over there. And below here, we have a way that you can get out of the submarine down here and also back into it as well. So now that we're down here, this is going to be a little bit of time to do the tour because it's a pretty big submarine and I want to show you all the rooms in it. We have here some specimen containers if you want to put various fish in here, or perhaps a mob or two. You could have some specimen containers filled with those. And through here we have what is meant to be a large alien containment tank. It's one of these that you could build in Subnautica in the multi-purpose rooms, but I have integrated it into the Atlas submarine here. So we have a large tank if you wanted to fill it with your favorite tropical fish and everything. You can observe it from down there as well as from the top of the tank here as well. And there's a few more containers in here also. So I believe that is all there is to look at in this lower section. So we need to go up a deck over here, back to the bridge and down the main corridor that you see here. This corridor bisects pretty much the entire ship all the way back to the fusion power core that we will be getting to eventually. But as you can see, I've kept it rather spacious but consistent with the design elements or aesthetic of Subnautica. So there are quite a few rooms like this in the submarine. I have not decorated them. That is for you to do. I wouldn't presume to know what you would want to put in your own submarine. But you can have either your storage room in one of these, and you could have an enchanting setup, various farms, perhaps a potion brewing laboratory in one of these. And as you can tell by now, the submarine itself is symmetrical. In other words, if you draw a center line through the submarine right here, this room over here is a mirror image of this one over here. So bear that in mind when we begin the phases of the tutorial. Now back here, we enter a large and spacious mobile vehicle bay area. This has an analog to it on the Cyclops, but I have made it larger on the Atlas class submarine, because as you can see down here, we have our Seamoth docked below there, and you can board your Seamoth from this entranceway here. In fact, let's do so. So we are now in the cockpit of our Seamoth. And if we go out of that, and back here, we can see that we have another area down here to carry our prawn suit. So the Atlas class submarine can both carry a Seamoth and a prawn suit wherever it chooses to go. And of course, there are various rooms attached to the sides of these. As you can see over here, there are also some portholes at various intervals in some of these rooms to let you peer out into the ocean depths. These are additions of mine. They were not on the original design for the Cyclops, for the Atlas submarine that I can tell. But I wanted to have a few of these, so that is what I have done back here. So our next stop is going to be the engineering compartment. Here we have a rather large fusion power core that powers your entire Atlas submarine. You can see it goes both above and below here. Of course, we have a nice glass layer to walk on, so we will be exploring this. We have some engineering stations around here that display absolutely nothing. You'll have to use your imagination on that. We have a few small side rooms over here as well. And back here, we have the power transfer conduit here. That leads into the main drive unit of the submarine itself. And as you can see, to sort of liven the entire place up, I have chosen to use some redstone lamps hooked up to some observers to give us some lighting effects. You're supposed to imagine the power is generated here, transferred through the conduit, and ends up back here in the main drive unit. And of course that would turn this large propeller shaft, which would drive the submarine forward. So that is what that is meant to represent. See, there are a few more things to see around here. There's a lower deck, so let me show you how to get down there. You access that from this ladder in the mobile vehicle area. So we are now in the lower section of the engineering compartment. And down here we have some containers for lava or little one-block areas, perhaps some plasma, something like that. Down here, and there is also one level below this. Down here, there are two hatches on either side down here at the rear of the stern in the engineering compartment, and there are some large containers down here as well for whatever you would choose to put inside of those. So let us ascend up this way, and we need to go up another deck. Up here, back to the main area. And I think we may as well go up to this deck here and take a look at the top section. First, we have more space around here for you to fill with whatever you want on the engineering section. There is an observation, sort of a catwalk up here for the top of the engineering section, so you can see the top of the engine assembly and operation there. And I think that there is a little hatch here to show you that this will lead to the top of your submarine back here at the back behind the conning tower. And since we're actually up here, let's actually go to the conning tower so I can show you the other hatchway over here. This is the one at the top. And over here, these are all of the windows and everything that we have on top of the conning tower itself. There's a small narrow room back here, a larger one here, and there's another small space over here as well for you to use. So if we go down here, and we have another suite of rooms. This is a hallway. As you can tell, this goes back to the engineering sections here. And these ladders lead back down to the mobile vehicle bay. And we have a few small rooms over here. I think these would sort of be designed to be used as crew quarters. They're of about that size. So if you want to have a few friends come over and be your crew, you can do that and assign them all to have a room in this level of the submarine. Now, as we get to this area, this I believe goes back to the conning tower, but there are some hallways that go around on either side. So let's go around to the left. And we have more windows on the sides of those. Here and there. We have rather large and spacious rooms here, perhaps suitable for a farm or something. Or a redstone device. And over here we have a few smaller rooms around the front. And this corridor, this loops all the way back around to where we came from there. And this one itself goes back all the way to where we started, here at the bridge. And I believe if we go down this way, I actually think that I have actually managed to make a loop, and I have successfully shown you all of the rooms inside of the Atlas class submarine. As you can tell, it's quite large. I don't think you're going to run out of space in here anytime soon for anything at all. So, with all of that said, I think what we should do is continue with the rest of the tutorial. Let's go ahead and look at the bill of materials you are going to need to construct this massive submarine. All right, so the bill of materials is going to be as follows. You're going to need an absolute ton of white concrete, 22,855 blocks, even more cyan terracotta with 32,589 blocks, 3,412 blocks of yellow concrete for all the accents, 5,056 blocks of obsidian. If you don't wish to use the obsidian on the build, you may substitute black concrete for that. 3 quartz slabs, 2 crafting benches, those are for the sea moth, 134 ladders to help you get around your submarine, 47 redstone repeaters and 29 redstone comparators to use as controls, 2,420 blocks of light blue stained glass, 1,572 light blue stained glass panes, 124 redstone lamps, 160 observers, 3 daylight sensors, 9 beacons, these are optional, they're just for decoration, 2,463 sea lanterns, and 33 and rods. All right, so with that completed, let us go over here and now take a look at the various phases of the submarine itself and begin the tutorial proper. Now, the tutorial is divided out into the following format. As you can see, we have various slices of the submarine pre-built, and I will be showing you block by block everything you need to build along the way with instructions. And we will be starting down here at the bottom level of the submarine. And every succeeding slice that you see will be 2 blocks taller than the previous slice. So, in other words, if we start with this slice down here, on top of it, you will be putting this 2 block slice here and the one after that, and so on and so forth, as you build the submarine up from the bottom. So, now the dimensions of this red wool box here, this is sort of a bounding box to help you measure out your submarine. These are the dimensions of the submarine itself. It is 200 blocks long, 43 blocks wide, and 49 blocks tall. So, whichever sea you want to start building your submarine in, you want to make sure that you have this much available to use for your submarine. It'd be really bad if you started building your submarine and suddenly ran out of room there. So now, as you can see here, you want to count however many blocks that is back from the center line. And then you want to build this here. And I have pre-placed red wool to help you with the block counts. And I will zoom in on this here. As you can see, you're starting out with a lower portion of cyan terracotta here. And you are continuing that back here to form the keel of the hull. The lower portions of that down here. We also have these 2 entrance ways that I pointed out to you in the lower engineering sections when we were doing the tour. And back here we have the lowermost part of what I believe is a secondary propulsion array on the lower part of the submarine. All right, so let me just give you a good top-down view of this entire phase before I move on from here. You want to make sure that you get everything correct on the bottom because you're going to be making all of your measurements and everything from this point going forward. And from here, let us take a look at the next phase as well. We'll zoom on in on that. As you see here, We are building the lower portions of this room here. Remember, this is the room I showed you with the large specimen containers. The gangways down here, and these are the lowermost sections of the doors of our two mobile vehicle bays down here. Remember, this one holds the sea moth, and this one will be holding the prawn suit. So there is a little bit of glass down here, a 2x3 section you want to build, just 1 block away, well, 2 blocks from that there. And I will give you a good top-down view towards the back, and you can use the red wool to help you get the block counts of this correct, as you see done here. And of course we have some obsidian ribbing and some yellow concrete and some sea lanterns down here as well. And remember, just pause the video and replicate the block patterns that you see on your screen to help you reconstruct all the elements of the submarine. Here's a view from ground level. Down here we have just a bit of cyan terracotta and yellow concrete mixed together. We have our portholes down there, well, our hatches to the submarine. And below here as well, we are building a bit more of the keel down underneath here. And I don't know if you can actually see all of that there, so let me get a little bit lower down. Now, if the visual instruction is not good enough, remember you can always download this exact world that I'm showing to you today in the video description below, so you can come here and take a look at the phases yourself, or create a schematic you could use in Lightmatica to use for building as well. So let's start with a good top-down view of the entire third phase here. You can see we're building out more of the mobile vehicle bays, the specimen containers back there, and the large alien containment unit up front here. So let me give you a good view of this here from the top down, and then we'll come back and take a side view going towards the back. You can see now the design for one of these mobile vehicle bays is the same as the other one, except in this one we're also building out the prawn suit as we go up as well. But if you don't want to have either the sea moth or the prawn suit, you can leave them empty, or perhaps reverse the positions of those. Here's a view of the drive pods on the side here. I know it's all a very complicated shape, so I'm trying to go slow and show you all of the elements from all the angles that you will be needing. We have some hidden lighting back here, by the way, on both ends of this. And at the back here as well. And remember, one side of the submarine is symmetrical, so it is the mirror image of the other side. And here's a view of the room that we're constructing down here as well. And let's take a side view from below here, going all the way towards the back here. And along the front here. Like so. All right, the first couple of phases is probably going to take you quite a while to do because we're rapidly beginning to build up the bulk of the submarine itself. So let's take a good, let's start with the top-down view of this entire next section of the submarine here. As you can see, just like the last phase, we are building out more of the alien containment unit, the mobile vehicle bays, and we are beginning to put a ceiling on the room down there as well. So let's start at the front again and pan backwards. It's at this level you're putting in the access hatch for the lower observation deck. As we go back this way, you can see all of the side details over here, I hope. And let me lower down and give you a good view inside of the alien containment unit. It's a fairly simple room. I don't think you will have any trouble rebuilding that. Here's a view of the side of one of the mobile vehicle bays. Of course, we have our obsidian here being used as structural support members. Bit of our prawn suit down there. And the top of the specimen room down here. As you see down here. All right, so I think that it is on this phase we finish off these little side drive pods on the sides here. So I'll give you a good look at those along the sides here. And we'll start at the back on the outside and take a view going forward from the stern. So we see our submarine is beginning to go up in that direction there. And over here, we have a bit more of the shape of the hull being formed as well. And here, the cyan terracotta. This is the outline for the doors of the mobile vehicle bay, as you can see on the interior here. So that will help you as a guide to get the measurements for those correct. Here we have a bit of detail for some of the forward lighting elements on the sub. I think they're meant to represent sort of like power cells, like we're on the Cyclops. But it is a fan-made model, so there's not any schematics to go off of. So I had to use all of my imagination to put in an interior in this thing for you. But that's going to be all the time we have for today. I think we are going to need 2 parts to successfully describe the submarine in enough detail. But in the meantime, I think you have more than enough to sink your teeth into. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.